I wanted to talk about just living with a brain injury and navigating your life and finding employment. And I've been stuck for a while because of the pandemic and because I've had difficulty finding a job that's right for me, right? I've worked for a taxi company, but I got rear ended and that gave me a mild concussion. I've had jobs that have overstimulated me. I've had job and they just stressed me out. Wasn't able to sleep. I've had jobs where I've had extreme headaches and extreme neck pain and I couldn't keep doing it. So I can work. Like I'm fully capable of working and finding work. It's just finding something that's right for my brain and right for what I am now. Maybe less than what I used to be or less capable, but I'm not less of a human being. In fact, now that I have to find a job that suits me and I don't get to just coast through life anymore. This is actually a good thing. And it's a good thing for you too if you have a brain injury. You might be able to relate to my story, but I passed high school fine. I got a job. I was able to live my life fairly effortlessly before my concussions and before my brain injury. But now, it's a lot more difficult. And this is why a lot of people with brain injury stay stuck, or they stay stagnant, or they do not grow as a human being. This has been the biggest fear that I've had from my concussion or my brain injury, that I will be living with my parents for the rest of my life, that I won't be able to take care of myself. I could keep going on, but I'm not going to because that's just feeding the anxiety that I already feel. But this is an illusion, and if you think you're going to stay stuck in the same place you are too, you won't. As long as you keep trying, because that's what it takes to find the right job for you or to find what works for you. Now, I gotta give up the skateboard, I gotta give me a right. I will, in due time. But for me, I had to look at working online because when I was ready to start working, the pandemic hit and I actually couldn't work. So it forced me to go online. And I've had various coaches and people who've helped me, but it's still not that great, right? And cycling through all of the coaches or the possible coaches that I've had the option to take, I've noticed even the coaches who preach about neurodiversity or whatever, they are selling you a product that is based off of the success that they had and the systems that they used. But the thing is, if you have a brain injury or you have a concussion, it's kind of like autism in a lot of ways. You are going to be people will tell you to do things and you'll question it and you might not do it or you might do something your own way. And if someone's selling you a system and you've paid thousands of dollars for that system, but for some reason your brain is telling you to do it this way, don't do it the way they're telling you to. Do it your own retarded way, right? That's what I do. Hi. I do it my own way. Just just cuz. So it's not going to work because this person is selling you a system and a product that's based off of a system that they've already used. This was my experience, anyways. Right? I couldn't wake up at 8 a.m. to post. I couldn't. All these little things that people take for granted, I couldn't do. And I still have issues with because of my concussions. I can't control that. No matter how much money I give you, there's nothing you can tell me over the computer screen that is going to make my brain get up at 8 a.m. or, right? That my brain is injured. It's just going to do what it's going to do until it's fixed. You are not going to be able to pay anybody any amount of money to fix yourself, right? You're not broken. You're not broken, but this is what you're doing. You're fixing yourself, right? You're repairing the injury. You are not repairing damage. And I say this because when you label people as things, or when you label things that happen to people as damage, that keeps the person stuck. You do not put spells on people to keep them stuck. Unless you're a bad teacher. I've had a couple bad teachers. Shout out. Anyways, I digress. And because I am in a desperate situation, because I can't take every job that comes to me anymore, that's what I did before my brain injury. I just took a job at Zeller's and had a job at UPS, had a job at Walmart, whatever I could get. I didn't really care because it was easy. Now nothing's easy. But you see, I'm going to get more out of life now that it's not as easy and I have to work harder. It's really great. But if you're also someone who shares the same conditions that I do, if you've had concussions, if this is something that's keeping you back, you're not going to be able to pay Andrew Tate or Wes Watson any money. They don't know anything about brain injury. And like drug addiction and stuff like that, there are so many people who are walking around right now with brain injury, but they don't understand it or they don't know it because they're addicted to drugs. Right? They have an acquired brain injury. Or they have a brain injury. Maybe they got a concussion when they were playing football in high school and they completely forgot about it. They still have that concussion. They're still living with the effects of that concussion they had 10 years ago. I'm still living with the effects of right? So, the biggest lesson I've learned from my brain injury is that what works for me is not going to work. What works for you might not work for me. And just because you post 10 to 20 Instagram posts a day about how I made $10,000 doing this and blah blah blah, that doesn't mean it's going to work for me. I don't have a filter. I don't care what I say. And yes, this is a problem, but I've gotten a lot better, and that's part of my brain injury. That's not an excuse, but that's why this symptom is here for me, or why I have no filter when I'm speaking to you. You don't know how many women have just walked right out of the coffee shop because I just said something. I just said what was on my mind, and they just. Right? But I don't care. Because I have to love the brain that I have now, and I have to love who I am now. I don't try to hurt people's feelings. But if I'm going to hurt your feelings by telling you the truth, then yes, walk out of the fucking coffee shop. Fuck you. I told you the truth. Fuck you. I told you the truth. That is all I ever do to people. If you can't handle the truth, don't talk to me. Right? But we seem to have entered an age where people don't take accountability for what they do to other people. Right? You blame the victim or you. But I digress. You know, if you have a concussion or if you've had a severe traumatic brain injury, if you live with the effects of a brain injury, the only thing that you need to do is really trust yourself and work hard. And life is not going to be as difficult as you think it should be, or it, right? And don't isolate yourself either, because not having a job and being desperate to find work is going to place people in your environment that want to take advantage of you. They don't care about how much money you make. They don't even care about you as a man, probably. But they want your money. And they're going to tell you a bunch of bullshit promises that are not going to manifest or come to fruition for you. I know. You know, all these people get online and they say, "Oh, nobody wants a 9 to 5 job." Well, I'm someone who almost died 9 years ago. A 9 to 5 job looks pretty good to me. I'm thankful to be alive. A 9 to 5 job would support me. I think I'd be all right with that. You see, you've got all these privileged fuckheads who've never they've never had a concussion in their life. They've never been in the hospital for more than a week at a time, and they're trying to tell you how to live your life. Guys like Andrew Tate, bro, you went to jail or something. You've never had a near death experience. You've never fucking right? So if you have a concussion or if you've had a severe traumatic brain injury, don't take advice from these idiots. They they're privileged. They don't know what it's like to work. My dad used to dig ditches. My family actually knows how to work hard. My family is are farmers and laborers and house builders. This is the bloodline, the lineage that I come from. I'm not afraid of a bit of hard work. But do you know what I am afraid of? Getting online on the internet and telling a bunch of people a bunch of fucking lies. And maybe I help 5 people, but I end up ruining 10 people's lives. I'm not okay with that. Half of you are. And you need to look at yourself in the mirror. Andrew Tate is okay with being a sex trafficker, you know what I mean? Just because someone gets on the computer doesn't mean they're actually a good, integral, moral person. I am. That's why a lot of people make fun of me. Right? That's why a lot of people think I'm lame. I don't care. I think it's funny when people do that to me, actually. You know? I wanted to share that word of advice. And if you don't have a brain injury, these peop- these products might work for you. But if you do have a brain injury, you're not like everybody else. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a Look at society right now. Do you really want to be like everybody else? I don't. I don't want to be like everybody else. I love the fact that I had a traumatic brain injury. I love the fact that I was unconscious. I love the fact that I had seizures at the scene of my accident. I love the fact that I'm alive right now to be able to speak about this and to be able to speak about any other abuse that idiots place on my lap. Most people go out and they have they have a Maserati, they have 5 girlfriends. I have so much stuff, and then they get on the internet and they brag about it, and they're still not fucking happy. I'm living at my parents' house with nothing. And you see what I post on here. I'm always laughing and just I laugh at the trolls too, because the trolls are the funniest fucking ones. I think my life is bad. Their life is even worse than mine. You know? And this is not just the weed, too. It's not just because I'm high. I'd stop smoking the weed and I'd still be able to laugh just as hard because my yoga practice. You know, the best advice I could give you if you have a concussion or if you have brain injury is to just not fall for the easy route. You know, nobody makes quick money unless their name is Andrew Tate and they lie to women to get them to do webcam for him. This is basically what Andrew Tate did. Is he lied to all these beautiful women, told them that he was going to be their husband, and when they moved to his place, he told them that they had to masturbate on webcam, and he took half of their money. He lied to them. He lied to his wives. This is how he made his money that he's on the internet bragging to all of you wonderful people about. He lied to his wives. He then sex trafficked them. He then stole half of their money. And then he used that to launder the rest of his dirty money. So he's a criminal to begin with. And he started up a webcam business so that he could launder the money he made illegally by lying to women. The biggest criminal. Like, what the fuck, bro? And he's on the internet right now, probably, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. If you have a brain injury, you don't need to be watching these people or listening to their bullshit because that's what they're lying to you. You need to trust yourself and love yourself.